Now that the frame is all finished up, you can see here, it's had a couple weeks to cure, and I think it looks really, really good. There's some imperfections, but what we're gonna do next is get some parts cleaned up. I've got a little Harbor Freight sandblaster, which you can see here. And I'm gonna be honest, this thing freaking rocks. These things don't need to be perfect, but I wanted to get the grime off of them. Actually, I missed a spot there. I wanted to get the grime off of them. Same thing with all these little parts and pieces. That way I could KBS them. And then I've got some KYB gas adjust shocks. The fourth one's inside. These things look super nice. You can see here. Once I get those mounts KBS'd, these are the mounts for the front shocks. Once I get KBS on those, and they mount right here, I'll put in the new shocks and I'll get the rear ones put in. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna keep sandblasting some other things. I've sandblasted these. I'm gonna keep rolling on those, and we're gonna start on those inner fender wells. So I'll probably pressure wash those first, and then we'll sandblast them. It just occurred to me that maybe there's some of you out there that have shied away from setting up a sandblaster. I know I was nervous about it because my air compressor didn't have enough power, but this is what I've got set up. So I have this Cobalt Quiet something or other. It does 4.5 CFM, SCFM at 90 PSI. And then this little trick I learned when I was spraying some drywall texture, but I actually piggybacked these two, and this one's 2.6 SCFM at 90 PSI. And so I take that, and I have air in the wall here hooked up to this, and I just have a splitter that I have, like a double-sided splitter, and I hook those two together, and this basically back feeds this one and adds another couple of CFM. Does a pretty good job. I can go for quite a while with the sandblaster before having to let it regen, but it's good enough for what I'm doing. The only thing, if you're gonna do it, make sure your regulators are set pretty close to the same. So this one's about 110 and this one's about 110. If they're not, one will just keep running, leaking air out of the regulator of the other one. So there's my little tidbit. That's how I'm making it work. As you can see, that went really, really well. So this one, actually I can't tell. Oh yeah, it was this one right where the battery was that was so rusted. And there was so much corrosion and nastiness on these. But we were able to get them all cleaned up. And the sand usage, so here's something to learn. I ended up putting this on a tarp. I've already scooped it up once, but I put it on a tarp and was able to reclaim most of it. So I just folded the tarp up, scooped it up, put it back in the bucket, and I used about a half a bucket. And there's still, from when I scooped up, maybe a quarter bucket or a third of a bucket. I'm sure I'll be back at a half. So the loss of sand is pretty low. It's very messy and it's a little painful. I should have had a face mask, but I had glasses. I just wrapped up sandblasting everything. I only showed you a couple pieces because honestly, it gets pretty boring. Definitely took a few hours. I had the 50-pound, I think it is, Harbor Freight sandblaster. And then I also picked up this cabinet blaster right here, another deal from Harbor Freight. So super, super useful. I will say there's a little bit of a learning curve on how these work. The shop vac with a HEPA filter is an absolute must. And the reason that, you can even see I picked one up. The reason for that is it was kind of coating my shop in just a little bit of dust, and I had a sore throat the next day, so I was definitely breathing stuff that I didn't realize. I got the HEPA filter, I think it helped. This is the media that I used, 80 grit, glass bead. I'm sure there's something better, but the kid I bought the sandblaster from, the other one, had 2 buckets of this stuff. Oh yeah, 50 pounds. 2 buckets of this stuff, and they're like $60 a bucket, I think, or somewhere around there. So that's what I used. You use what you got. This thing, total game changer, and you can see all the pieces that I've got. So I did these inner fenders. This covers the transmission, the battery. By the way, stuff like this where there's a little bit of rust, I'm still going to KBS everything. So even if there's just a touch of rust here and there, it's going to be fine. The KBS, really, I wanted to sandblast it to get off all the flakes and the nastiness. Anyway, so this, if this goes bad and whatever, I can replace this. They're like 15 bucks, but I had it, so I went to town on it. It was super rusted, super duper pitted. Again, inner fenders. These are gas tank supports, motor mounts, fender mounts. These are what mount the shocks, the front shocks. Another pulley for the motor, and these are the straps for the fuel tank. So the next thing we're gonna do is hang these all up and then go ahead and KBS everything. I know it's gonna be a little bit of a project, but everything here is gonna look so nice. And I think this is the last of the sheet metal parts that we need to KBS. Once those are done, then I'm going to start reassembling everything. So I'm gonna put the fuel tank in and get the emergency brake cables, the new shocks, we're gonna put those in, and that'll be it. I mean, we're not gonna take them off and put them back on again. After that, I think I've got to start routing some brake lines. Not really sure what order we're gonna do it all in, but I'm just gonna keep boogieing until these guys are able to take this and start doing body work. If best case scenario, I can get everything put together, get the motor in, and get an exhaust run. All right, I saved you guys the trouble of looking at it, but I got everything. I sprayed this acid etch stuff on there. It's a primer. I'm trying to be smarter this time and actually keep it wet. That way I don't have to pressure wash it like I did the frame. But I got all this stuff just soaking in here. A lot of parts and pieces, but once this is all done, it's gonna look so nice. And I'll save you guys the trouble of watching me paint it as well. So when we come back, it'll be done. All right, we're wrapped up. So we just got the second coat on. Once this cures, we'll take it to the body shop. Oh yeah, I just spilled the beans. The body shop actually called me and we took the truck over there and they're rocking and rolling on it. More on that in the next video. Oh baby, we just got a shipment from LMC Truck. There's some things that didn't make it, but let's pop this in the shop and we'll take a look at what we got. I just got everything unpacked and everything's here. The one thing that didn't make it, well, it did make it on the truck, is the new aluminum grill. Somehow that box got destroyed and it got folded right in, like almost in half. It had a big fat crease in it. So I got a hold of LMC and they're gonna send me a new one on that, but I'll give you a little look at what we've got. It's like Christmas. I probably went a little bit overboard, but we went all brand new bumpers. I think the front bumper maybe could have been salvaged. The front side of the front bumper looked okay, but the back side was totally rusty. So I got a new front bumper, new rear bumper. This is the same style as the bumper that was on it, just chrome. This is kind of an old school style truck where it's gonna have a lot of chrome, which I know that's not the new thing, but we know whatever. So it's got a new heavy duty rear bumper. That came with new marker lights, or not marker lights, but lights for the license plate. New black door panels. The original interior was tan, kind of like this seat here, but we're gonna go black. I just think it looks better. I really don't like tan that much. I screwed up the floor pan by cutting it too small, so I ordered a new one of those. That one got a little bit damaged in shipping, but I really do think it's probably gonna be okay. I'll talk to them about that and see if they can send me a new one. New radiator support. The one out there was super rusty. I maybe could have salvaged it, but this thing was like 260 bucks, which you know, I don't know. It would have taken me a day just to get it prepped and then another day to get it painted. Plus all the metal work, I think it was worth $260. All new rubber. So all these rubber pieces that go into the fenders and in the engine compartment, those are all new. I think these are window seals. Oh yeah, full rubber seal and gasket set here. Tons of fasteners, new handles, new dome light, new Ford lettering. The ones on my truck actually went missing. Like I said, a ton of fasteners. You can see all new rubber plugs, all more rubber. Oh, even I got new seat belts too, black seat belts to match, and they look good. New tail lights. It's kind of a bummer. The tail lights that were in it were actually okay, but I'm sure many of you noticed I have a golf simulator that I built in here, and before I had the net and all the setup, we were golfing and a buddy hit the ball, bounced off, not the net, came back, and I had the light sitting on my tool chest and it just blew one apart. So they weren't that expensive, and I'm sure they're gonna look really good, all new. Anyway, so new tail lights, new front markers. I think the rear side markers are actually in great shape. These are new armrests. This is a new lens for the gauge cluster. I'm sure many of you know how yellow those get. New sun visors. I mean, there's a lot of new stuff going on in here. What am I missing? Oh yeah, this is the hood insulation. It's probably not necessary, but where the paint job is so expensive, I really want to protect it from the heat as much as possible. So, and actually, by ordering this, if you order off LMC, you get the shipping for free if you order more than $2,500. And so this bumped me right over the $2,500. So it saved me 200 and something bucks in shipping. This is 100 and something. So I actually come out on top by ordering this. And then this is new black carpet. So pretty exciting. Like I said, it's a lot, and I know I could probably do without a lot of this stuff. But if this has got out of control. So, and what I mean by that is originally I just did not plan to go as crazy as I am. And the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, well, I'm in here, I'm going to do this. While I'm in here, I'm going to do this. I'm sure a lot of you know exactly how that goes, but it's since evolved into a full frame up, restore everything. I mean, you guys saw some of the videos, but bought a couple sandblasters. I've got this cabinet sandblaster over here that now I'm sandblasting all the little bolts so I can paint those, and everything looks great. So like it's got out of hand, but all these new parts are going to make it super slick to go back together. And when I get back from the auto body shop, we can just throw it all in and it's going to go together really nice. So I super appreciate everybody watching. It does mean a lot. I don't have tons of views or whatever, but people are watching, and it's fun to see that other people are interested in what I'm interested in. Like I said before, I'm not a YouTuber, don't know how to edit. I am trying to learn how to edit, but I appreciate you coming along the ride with me. So that's the end of this video. We're going to trying to think what we're going to do next. Probably clean up the engine and start trying to finish that up, get it painted. I did find a 4-barrel intake as well, so we will be doing a 4-barrel Holley Sniper, and that's going to be a learning experience. Some people have had great experiences with them, some people haven't, but I think for us and wanting to just walk out and just start it and have everything work, that's going to be the best bet. So again, super appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.